Okay, Aquarius, as you can see, your reading is still down here. I have just taken a couple of minutes in between the general reading and sitting down to do the extended, just to shuffle some oracle decks since I was in the energy of this reading. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clear away these cards. We're going to just clear this energy off. And I will be using a different tarot deck, not any of these. So I'm going to use this tarot deck. So what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to shuffle this tarot deck here on camera. Again, this is not one of the decks that I used in that general reading. I'm going to turn these cards as I feel like they want to flip, as they come out in groups naturally. Okay. And then mix these up one more time. Okay. So I'm just going to move that right up there, so it's a bit out of the way. And then I'm going to shuffle these oracle decks twice each on camera for you. I do just want to let you know I don't read reversals on these oracle decks, so if you see me turning a card, it's just so I can have the text be right by the screen. And we'll be pulling one card from each of these oracle decks as communication from your spirit guides, your ancestors, and your higher self. And then we will pull two tarot cards out of the deck, just to give some additional insight or deeper meaning to what comes through from the oracle decks. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start by asking your spirit guides to communicate with me whatever messages they wish to deliver to you. Thank you and appreciation to your spirit guides for communicating with me. I would like to invite your ancestors to step forward at this point to communicate whatever they wish to deliver to you, specific to the reading that I just completed about the karmic cycle of domination and control. Thank you. I'd like to ask your higher self to communicate what it wishes to say to you, specific to the reading that I just completed. Okay, I'm going to move these out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to put these two just right up here, so I have space. We're going to start by looking at what your spirit guides wished to communicate with you. Look at this. I'm unapologetic about what I desire and trust what I focus on will grow. Guys, it's exactly what we talked about, right? You have to say what it is that you want, go after it, be brave, be willing to make mistakes, be willing to mess up, be willing to have to redirect yourself, rethink things, realize that some things might not work out, and if they don't work out, if you're in the right energy, right? What you're focusing on matters. What should you focus on? You should focus on manifesting absolute best, happiest life possible for you. That should be your focus. Ask the universe for that. Tell the universe to take anything out of your way that's getting in the way of having that. Allow that to grow, right? But you have to be willing to see things stripped away, taken away. Things that you thought is where your life was going to head, maybe it goes in a different direction. You have to be willing to embrace that. So we have this card, We Are the World. We'll talk a little bit about that. Movement and intimacy. Okay. Here's what I'm getting just in terms of some initial insight from your spirit guides, and we are going to pull a couple of tarot cards as well to look at this a little bit more in depth, but I don't want to do that just yet. You have the ability within you. We all do, but I'm speaking directly to the person listening to me because I think you need to hear this, okay? You have within you the ability to create the exact life that you want. Everything that you desire, everything that you wish was a part of your life, you can bring that into existence. In order to do that, though, you have to make some progress, and you have to do some work, and you have to clear some things that are specific to your ability to allow people to come in close and allow yourself to be known and to show who you truly are, and also to just be able to create a space with other people where you can be vulnerable and feel safe. Okay? Your spirit guides are wanting you to have an understanding that if you're focused on fear, right? So if it's fear or avoidance that makes you bring someone in and allow them to kind of like have access to your energy or control over your energy, then that's not ever going to lead to somewhere that is empowering, because it was something that was done from a place of fear. So you have to let people in because you feel that it's a good thing. So they want you to really take a look at what goes on internally for you when you make the decision to allow someone to come into your life, and to be very sacred about, I'm only letting people come in to be part of what I'm creating. I'm only allowing people in who are supportive of that, who are helping me to become more stable within myself, more confident in myself, more secure in my spiritual abilities. I want people who are going to also be rooting for me to succeed. I want people who are going to be wanting to see me grow and expand. That's the type of energy that I want to have around me. Okay? Let's pull a couple of tarot cards here. I do just want to say your Nine of Wands reversed, Eight of Cups. This makes sense. I just want to say something about the energy of your spirit guides really quickly. Your spirit guides they really feel like so they have a lot of respect for you, and it's not like a cheesy type of respect. They're really like, no, you're like a big deal. Like, you came here with a purpose. You came here on a mission, and you've kind of forgotten how much of a badass you are. They really feel like, in a way, you've cut them off. You've cut them out. That you are kind of like closed off to them, or resistant of what they're trying to help you with. And it's almost like they're saying, look, we work for you. So we're trying to balance, like, pushing you towards the direction that you wanted to go in, and also trying to, like, focus on what it is you say that you want. So, like, if you say to us, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this, just send someone to, like, take care of this. Why I don't want to deal with this. And they'll send someone in to take care of it. But they also know from, like, a higher perspective that you don't want someone telling you what to do. And so they bring someone in who gives you temporary relief, but then ultimately triggers you to remember that you don't want someone telling you what to do. You want to have control over your own decisions and the actions that you take. And then they take that person away. And it's a cycle that they're like, what is going on? Like, we had things that we were going to work on. They really want you to be in a place where you move on, where you start moving towards what you actually came here to do. I love the Eight of Cups because it's one of the cards that I think symbolically is always like a very beautiful card. Very often, this particular card is not illustrated this way, but very often you'll see that there are 8 cups, and this person will either be holding a cup, or there will be a cup that's, these cups will be arranged in a way so that you can see a cup is missing, right? The 8 of Cups is really about moving on from something that was not yours, taking the 9th cup, which is your wish fulfillment, dream come true, the life that you really want. That 9th cup also then becomes your Ace of Cups as you move forward towards something else. Okay, so this card, I really love this card as a reader when it shows up, because it's just, your guides are telling you, take what's yours and move forward towards what it is that you really want to do, right? You're taking that 9 of Cups to create the life that you want with the people that you want, right? So that's what your guides want to communicate here. Again, they just have so much respect for you, and so they're trusting that if you're not pulling the trigger on certain things, it's because there's, right? I'm curious what's going on with your higher self. But your guides sort of default that, like, if you aren't doing what they expected you to be doing, they default to you because they know ultimately, like, no, we really respect you and we know that you're a powerful being, a powerful spirit. You're very evolved, so we're going to trust you. But if you're not trustful of yourself, if there's some sort of conflict going on, that's what I'm saying. I'm super curious about this. There's a conflict or a disconnect going on between you here and your higher self, then that can cause some problems. Okay, but let's see what your ancestors wanted to say here. This one's really long. So it says, my capacity to tune into the energy of love gives me the words I need when I'm ready to speak up, the compassion I need when it's time to forgive, and the power I need when I'm lost. Okay. Again, makes sense with that general reading, right? What's happening, your ancestors are saying what's happening is, instead of tuning into love, instead of saying to your guides or your ancestors or your higher self, hey, you know what? I'm really confused about what to do right now. I don't know what I need to do. I need you guys to help me. Right? Tuning into the energy of love to find the things that you need when you don't feel like you have them. They're almost like you're tuning into control. You're defaulting to what it was. They're saying you're defaulting to what it was you knew when you were younger, when you were controlled. But that's not what you have to rely on as an adult. You don't even have to rely on that as a kid, but we don't necessarily teach kids spirituality or spiritual tools. We probably should, right? Like, how different would it feel for a kid? I don't know why this is coming through. This might be specific to one person, but this feels like work. I was talking about, like, they're like, no, you came here for a purpose, and why are you not doing it? So what I was about to say feels like it's actually coming through as a message from your ancestors. I don't know how many people will watch this, but this is going to resonate with at least one of you. You're meant to teach spirituality to kids. You're supposed to take spiritual concepts and figure out how to present them to kids in a way that they understand. Because what I was going to say is, imagine how it would be for a kid who was in, like, an abusive home, or was in a situation where maybe they were in foster care or in the foster system, or they had a parent who was, like, violently taken from them, and they are a kid, and so their mind is only able to process things from, like, a kid mind. But what if you were able to offer them spiritual principles, spiritual tools, in a way that allowed them to heal that trauma as children, so that they aren't growing with that trauma, so that they aren't growing. And what's interesting is, what's coming through here is, like, it's almost like taking child psychology and adding spirituality into it. But that, for at least one, I hope this message finds whoever that is, because I would love to see that in the world. Like, I personally would love to see that as something that exists in the world. So I'm hoping your ancestors will help get this to you, whoever you are. Let's see what else goes along with this, though. Look at that. New vision. Like, you are supposed to come in and just sort of turn things on their head. Nature is the other card that they are showing here. I don't know if there's some component of nature involved in that work. Transformation. Look at that. That's exactly what I was picking up on. This could be a very specific message for just one of you, or maybe there's a group of you who are just being called to, like, the same sort of work. These extended readings are a new thing for me. I just started doing them last month. And so, I think there were 50-something channel members that signed up initially. As that grows, clearly it'll become a bigger group. It'll never be as big of a group as the main channel. And I did that purposefully because I wanted to be able to do stuff like this where, it is very specific. That's a very specific message. And so if it doesn't resonate with you, just know that someone else who will watch this, that will resonate with them. Okay. So yeah, I don't even feel like I need to elaborate on this. I think this is just your ancestors giving you cues here, right? But this is specific to work, and it feels like it's about work, helping children deal with trauma in a spiritual way, merging child psychology with spirituality. That's just it. That's all they're giving, right? What I did just get a flash of is a female relative. It feels like that relative has passed on, But that relative feels like they had a connection to psychology. There showed me older female relative who's passed on, and then back to that like psychology connection. I'm just going to show you this card again because I kind of put my attention back onto it. In terms of the work, in terms of this, it's interesting because like this transformation, a new vision that leads to transformation somehow involving nature. This feels like something that you can do yourself. They're wanting you to do this yourself. But this is also kind of they're saying the roadmap to the work that you'll do. So again, my capacity to tune into the energy of love gives me the words I need when I'm ready to speak up, the compassion I need when it's time to forgive, and the power I need when I'm lost. Okay, so let's see what wants to come through in terms of tarot cards for that. See if that gives us any additional insight or anything else that just wants to be communicated. Doesn't have to be specific to that work. Okay. So we have two of the princesses. These are page cards in this deck. They're princesses. We have the swords and the cups showing up here. It's very interesting to me. You know, pages in tarot sometimes, you know, they don't always mean messages and communication. They have other meanings. So there are lots of readers on YouTube who only focus on them being messages and communication. It's very interesting to me, though, because these pages do actually feel like messages and communication, specifically just in terms of like what your ancestors are trying to show you, what they're trying to talk to you about. This Page of Cups, to me, it feels very much just like they're just sending so much love and affection towards you. They have so much, like your ancestors feel like they are just like huge cheerleaders for you and what they feel like you're gonna do in this world. It also feels kind of like an invitation from them for you to spend more time connecting to them. I don't think that you've spent a lot of time connecting with your ancestors, and I think that could be related to something with your own childhood, connected to your parents or maybe a grandparent, where it's kind of like maybe it wasn't the healthiest situation, and so therefore you've kind of disconnected from your bloodline, from your ancestors, but you have ancestors who really are rooting for you and want to show up for you. Now, the Page of Swords to me just feels like acknowledgement from them that they're really watching over you. They're really curious about what it is that you're going to do, like what you're up to. Your ancestors are very curious about you, and they do keep a close eye on you. And they try their best to nudge you towards what they know will ultimately be work that fulfills you in a very deep, meaningful way. Okay? So I'm so curious about this one because this is your higher self. Let's see what your higher self's advice. Look at this. This is from your higher self. I am a spirit having a human experience, and I'm here to get closer to love. What was this? Look at this, guys. Your higher self is saying to you, look, I'm not human. I'm experiencing being human right now, but I'm a spirit. My whole goal here was to bring more love into the world, get closer to love. My capacity to tune into the energy of love, right? Remember all that? These are beautiful messages coming through for you. Be unapologetic about what you desire. Trust that it will grow. Tune into the energy of love. Remember this energy, right? The human stuff is just human stuff. We signed up to experience it, all of it. The good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. There's purpose in it. Anything, okay, so your higher self is saying anything that you experienced that was pain or trauma as a child, you wanted to experience that pain and trauma as a child because your goal was to help bring a spiritual principle into how children are taught to deal with trauma. But how could you do that if you had not experienced it yourself? We have compromise, the pillar, and compassion. This is very interesting. So they're kind of presenting the pillar here to me, and I hope you can see the illustration. You can see there's two pillars there, right? They're kind of presenting this to me as the thing that's going to allow you to feel stable in making some of the moves that you're going to need to make. And they're wanting me to position the cards like this, okay? They're saying the two pillars that you need to really lean on, the two pillars that you need to build everything upon, is compromise and compassion. They're saying really take a look at how they want you to take a look at your relationship with those two concepts. How do you feel about compromise? How do you define compromise? What is compromise to you? When has compromise gone well for you? When has it not worked out? How do you want to, what is the relationship you want to build with compromise moving forward? Also with compassion. Okay? They're saying you can't extend compassion outward to another person if you're not willing to offer it inwardly to yourself first. And there are things where you're not being compassionate about yourself, specific with your childhood. Things that happen in your childhood, trauma from your childhood. You're not compassionate with yourself about that. And until you are compassionate about that, you can't put compassion out because you're not allowing yourself to have it. Your higher self is really wanting you to understand. They want me to repeat that. When you don't allow yourself to have something, compassion in this example, if you don't allow yourself to have that, to possess it fully, you don't have it. You don't possess it. Therefore, you can't give it outwardly. Okay? Let's see what tarot cards want to come out from your higher self. And then we will close the energy on this reading. I do hope that you've enjoyed this reading. It's been very interesting for me. I think some beautiful messages have come through. I also just want to say a huge thank you to you if you're watching this, because I know that means you signed up to support the channel. And that just means a lot to me. So I want to say thank you before I forget. Let's see what the cards are coming out from your higher self. We have the Ace of Wands reversed coming out with the World card. Now this is really interesting. Okay. We are the world coming out here again. I want to talk about the World card first. Okay. Because this is really about life cycles. This is about completing something. This is about coming to the end of something that was very major. Specific to things where like we're missing out on opportunities, or we're kind of getting like this Ace of Wands to me feels like where we kind of start down the road and then we get something like delays it or stops it or blocks it, right? And it's that energy that I feel about like you get so close to stepping fully into yourself, wrapping all this stuff up, and then something like pushes you aside, and they're saying you have to deal with this. It's very interesting. Your higher self feels like they're saying like you don't need to talk anymore about this. They'll understand. Like I'm wanting to talk more about compromise and compassion, but they're saying they got it. They understand. Like your higher self is saying that this was more of a confirmation of something that they have been trying to show you, more so than it's something I need to explain. I'm going to trust that. Because I don't know what I would add to what I've already said about it. I have an instinct to keep talking, and they're saying it's good, you're done. So I'm going to trust that. So Aquarius, thank you for watching this. Thank you for the support of the channel. Thank you for supporting me. If you feel like you still want to explore this more, or that you have additional questions that you want to ask of any of this group, or just something you need to explore and you want to do a personal reading with me, KeaghanTarot@gmail.com. It's the best way to take care of that. If not, then I will see you in a couple of weeks when I do the next round of mid-February readings to see what's going on with your energy there. Okay.